Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for Nick Singleton Zoom. Please use the raise your hand feature and I'll call on you. We'll start with Rich Scarcella.
Thanks, Julia. Good morning, Nick. How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Nick, obviously this season hasn't gone how you had hoped in a lot of ways, and I was just wondering what has kept you going and who has kept you going through all of it?
Yeah, I'll say the people that kept me going is the coaches, my player, my teammates. They always been there every step of the way throughout the whole season. I know it's been long and a rough start, obviously, but they've been sticking together. Coming out here and getting better every day. So we've been staying locked in.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey Nick, appreciate your time this morning. Um, what has Katron meant to you and kind of the friendship? I know Terry was telling us yesterday that the way he described Katron, he said he wasn't the most friendly person, the most talkative guy in the building when he got here, but that he's changed a bit.
Yeah, Fat Man's been really good. We're roommates. That's my boy, one of my best friends here. He just brings the energy to the team and to our running back room too. So he's been a really good teammate, a really good friend of mine. So he's been really good.
Tyler Donahue.
Thanks, Julia. Nick, we appreciate your time. I'm curious what kind of case you would make right now for Terry Smith to be the head coach of this football program beyond November, beyond December. I think a lot of people paid attention to his emotional press conference yesterday, the way you guys reacted as the game ended against Michigan State. What can you say on behalf of maybe the locker room and behalf of yourself to say why he deserves consideration to be the full-time head coach?
Yeah, Coach Smith's been really good. Just when he got the message about Coach Franklin obviously being fired, like he stepped in, he didn't blink. You know, his energy was really good. He brought up the team and all that. So Coach Smith's always been good. He's been recruiting me since high school too. So we always had a good relationship. But just to see him, just consider him being a head coach, like I would obviously do that for him. But he's been really good.
Greg Pickle.
Nick, thanks for your time this morning. I'm just curious, I'm sure you're aware, obviously, that Coach Franklin got the Virginia Tech job. Just your reaction to that, and if you've had any conversations with him since then.
Yeah, I texted him yesterday just saying congratulations to him. I'm proud of him for all that. But I'm just happy for him, man. He's been through a lot throughout this whole year. Just to see him get another job like that is just phenomenal. That's my guy, man. So I'm just happy for him.
Daniel Gallen.
Thanks for the time this morning, Nick. With your senior day coming up on Saturday, what have just the emotions been like so far this week or over the past couple weeks as this thing starts to wind down?
Yeah, no, senior week's gonna be really good. There'll be a lot of emotions, obviously. My parents will be coming up, some of my family too. So I can't wait for that. But at the end like that, we gotta go out there and just win, take one day at a time this week. Let Saturday take care of itself.
Max Ralph.
Morning, Nick. Thanks for being here. Just to follow up on the senior day question a little bit, it's very open-ended, but how do you kind of reflect on your 4 years here and your career to this point?
Yeah, I just kind of reflected how it went and all that. Obviously, this year wasn't what I expected, the whole team expected, but I want to train for nothing. These last 4 years at Penn State meant a lot to me, my teammates, coaches, and obviously my family back at home. So, to go out there this Saturday to get a win, especially my senior night, would just mean a lot.
Rich Scarcella.
Nick, how do you hope that Penn State fans remember you with these two games left? How do you hope that they remember you?
These are how they hope.
Yeah, how do you hope that fans remember you? What do you hope your legacy will be?
Well, obviously, my legacy, I want to get a lot of records, the rushing record, the rushing touchdown record, the total touchdown record, just being that type of player for my teammates, that coaches where the fans could talk about me when I leave, obviously, how great of a player I was, great of a teammate I was, just that type of legacy I just want to leave, especially at Penn State.
Audrey Snyder.
Nick, obviously your relationship with Jaywan kind of goes back quite a ways. Have you had any communication with him this year? I know obviously you guys are both super busy, but are you guys still in contact at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, we talk a little bit. Just just how the game's going, how the season's going, and all that. He still watches the game. He still acts like he's my coach, just saying stuff that I can do better and all that. But he's still there. He's always gonna still be there. That's my guy.
Tyler Donahue.
Nick, over the past month or so, the work at running back has leaned more toward Katron than really we've ever seen at any point in your 4 years together. What did you see him do to earn this opportunity for those more carries, and ultimately, how do you think he has performed with those opportunities?
Yeah, Kate. Yeah, Fat Man's been performing really well throughout the whole season. Just the opportunities he's getting. He's taking advantage of them. So he's been really good. It just talks about his work ethic throughout the whole offseason and all that. So he's been really good.
Joe Smeltzer.
Hey, Nick, appreciate the time. So you've played a lot of games in Beaver Stadium. What's your favorite memory of a Saturday at home?
Favorite memory. Let me think. I'll probably say go back to my freshman year, my first whiteout game. That game was obviously crazy. I remember just coming out for warmups, the whole student section was already packed. Usually it takes time to get it packed, but it was already packed. Everybody was already there. And just running out the tunnel to go for the game, it was all white, the whole pack. Like that was probably the best experience. Just because, I always watched games like that back at home at the crib during high school years. So, just running out there and obviously we won that game too. So that was really my favorite moment, I feel like.
Greg Pickle.
Nick, you mentioned the touchdown record a minute ago. What would it mean to you to either tie or pass Saquon in both of those record chases?
Yeah, it'll mean a lot for me, especially to break it. Like you said, that's talking about part of my legacy. Being that type of player. Just breaking them records like that. Just means a lot, especially to me, my legacy, and just Penn State.
Daniel Gallen.
Nick, to go back to the question about your relationship with Katron, it really, how has that grown? What do you got? You talk about being roommates, like, what is it like living with him? What do you guys do together? How did you kind of foster that friendship?
Yeah, like I said, we roommates, so we always been there together, be there for each other. Literally, we're inside the crib. We talk a little bit. Usually, we're in our rooms. Just doing our own stuff. But that's my guy. He can ask me for anything. I go to him, ask about anything. That's the kind of relationship we have. So that's my brother's keeper.
Max Ralph.
Nick, Terry talked a little bit about Drew yesterday and just how much of a leader he's been, especially considering he's hurt right now and he's been around practice and has traveled. Um, how do you reflect on his career and your relationship with him now that you're both going into your senior day here? I mean, you started this thing together 4 years ago.
Yeah, Drew's been really good. Obviously he has a lot going on throughout this whole season, but he's been there for each other, for everybody. Still being that leader. Still speaking up when stuff needs to be said. Just Drew's been really good, man. He brings the energy too. He's not a down guy or all that. So Drew's been really good, and just yeah, he's been really good, man. That's my man.
We've got time for a couple more. We'll go back to Rich.
Nick, besides obviously winning these next two games, what kind of statement would you like to make these last two games, these last two regular season games?
Yeah, these last two statement games, I obviously want to win the games. I want to perform to my best ability. And just get the win, man. That's the most important thing. Leaving our mark here at Penn State, not just for me, the whole team, but just the whole program. So I just want to go out there and just go out there and win.
Audrey.
Nick, appreciate you doing this morning. A lot of people in the ACC are trying to get to know James Franklin, and people at Virginia Tech want to know what they're getting. What would you kind of tell Virginia Tech players, fans about the guy that they're getting with James Franklin, about what maybe you enjoyed playing for him?
Yeah, Coach Frank's a really good coach. Even better person. He's like that team player, man. Like he just loves the players of his team. Like he does everything for the players, for the team, and all that. It's not about him. He always talks about it's always about the players and all that. So Virginia Tech, they got a guy right there. Yeah, he's got a good leader, good coach, and even good person.
Last one, Tyler Donahue.
Thanks again, Julia. If you were to break that record that you were talking about, you'd be breaking Saquon Barkley's record. I remember you guys had some communication earlier in your career. What kind of a relationship do you have with Saquon, and has he discussed that at all for you? You know, go get my record. Is it anything that's ever come up in the topic of conversation between the two of you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like that. Just just he just really talked to us. See what we need and all that stuff we gonna work on. Just really just checking in, being a big brother guy. But like during our seasons, we're obviously we're busy and all that, so we haven't talked to him like that.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
But
Nick.
thank you.